What's going on, MMA fans? I'm back to do my UFC 88 breakthrough predictions. Going to be taking place on September 6th. Solid card top to bottom, a great card for September for MMA. Going to work my way from the bottom of the main card all the way to the top, like I usually do. First fight of the night, Martin Kampmann taking on Nate Marquardt. Martin Kampmann, world-class striker, underrated ground game. If you've seen any of his fights, he's got good jiu-jitsu skills. Very, very good on the ground when he gets into a dominant position, and he's very, very talented at great top game. Fought the likes of Jorge Rivera, Drew McFedries, Talis Latis, and Crafton Wallace, and of course Kampmann is now training out of Extreme Couture. Taking on Nate Marquardt, world-class 185er, good Brazilian jiu-jitsu. He's a black belt, in fact, training out of Jackson's. Has fought in Pancrase, has won it several times. I believe he's either 6 or 7-time King of Pancrase. Fought the likes of Kazuo Masaki over in Pancrase, defeated him twice. Once via an injury, once via TKO. Fought Anderson Silva, of course, losing to Anderson Silva. The controversial loss to Talis Latis. Jeremy Horn, Crafton Wallace, Dean Lister, Joe Dorkson. I'm going to go with Nate Marquardt in this fight. I think he's going to be able to close the distance on Martin Kampmann, be able to get inside, get Kampmann to the ground, and grind out a decision. Kampmann's got good takedown defense, but I think in this fight you're going to see Marquardt use 1-2 combinations to set up takedowns and get Kampmann to the ground and control him. So I'm going to take Nate Marquardt via decision. Next fight, Dan Henderson versus Rusmar Palhares. Interesting fight. This is going to be one of the fights I'm definitely going to be looking forward to. Dan Henderson, world-class Greco, world-class takedowns, world-class top game. Sometimes it's a little too confident in his hands, but he's got a dynamite right hand if he hits you with it. Of course, training out of Team Quest. Fought the likes of Anderson Silva, Quentin Rampage Jackson, Vanderlei Silva, Vitor Belfort, Miller Bustamante, Rio Shonen, Little Nogueira, Ricardo Arona, the list goes on. Rusmar Palhares, world-class 80cc grappler, a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, training out of the Brazilian top team, beating Ivan Salaverry, Fabio Nagao, and Daniel Acasio. I'm going to go with, even though I see Dan Henderson making a mistake, I'm going to go with Dan Henderson. I think he will be able to be smart in this fight, stand, avoid going to the ground, and outstrike Palhares. Use his size, use his takedown abilities to his advantage as far as his defense. Try to avoid the clinch, try to avoid Palhares coming in on him, use his range. You may even see Henderson attempt to go for a takedown at the end of rounds to try to solidify the rounds, but I think Henderson's probably going to try to stand more than likely to avoid the jiu-jitsu of Palhares. So, Dan Henderson decision. Next fight, Karo Parisyan versus Yoshiyuki Yoshida. Wow, another fight that's going to be awesome to watch. Two guys that are black belts in judo. If you've never seen Yoshiyuki Yoshida fight, you've got to check this guy out. He's talented. So is Karo. Karo Parisyan, of course, training out of Jackson's. Fought the likes of Thiago Alves, Rio Shonen, Josh Berkman, Drew Fickett, Diego Sanchez, GSP, Nick Diaz, the list goes on. Very, very talented when he gets you to the ground. He's got a good top game. His striking is gotten better, but it still needs to improve. Yoshiyuki Yoshida, world-class judo. He's either a 3rd or 4th degree in judo. I can't remember which one it is. Of course, beating John Koppenhaver in his UFC debut. Beating Akira Kikuchi in the past, and also Katsuya Inoue in the past as well. I'm going to take Yoshiyuki Yoshida in this fight. I think his judo is just a step above Karo's. I think he's going to catch Karo in mistakes. I think he's going to catch Karo in stand-up. I think Yoshida's got cleaner striking, and I think he's going to take this fight via decision. So I'm going to take Yoshiyuki Yoshida via decision. Next fight, Rich Franklin versus Matt Hamill. Rich Franklin, of course, world-class striker. He has a good clinch, although it isn't the best clinch in the world. He's got a good top game if he gets you to the ground, and he's got underrated submission skills. Of course, beating Travis Luter in his last fight, losing to Anderson Silva twice, beating Okami, beating Nate Corey, beating David Loazo, beating Evan Tanner, beating Ken Shamrock. I mean, the list goes on for Mr. Franklin. Matt Hamill, 3-time Division III champion in wrestling. He's got great Greco. He's, I think, competed in competition as far as Greco is concerned, and he's a very, very good wrestler and improving hands. I'm going to take Rich Franklin in this fight. I think you're going to see Hamill be able to get Franklin down at some points, but Franklin will be able to scramble, get up. Franklin's got good takedown defense as well. I think he's going to use that to his advantage. And I think Franklin's going to register a third-round TKO. I think he's going to stop Matt Hamill. It could even go to a decision, which I will not be surprised, but I think Franklin's going to do enough damage to wear down Matt Hamill and eventually get the stoppage. Okay, on to the main event, Chuck Liddell versus Rashad Evans. An interesting fight on paper, but I think the outcome will be the way that I think it'll go as far as my prediction. Chuck Liddell, of course, world-class striker, great counter-striker, good takedown defense, some of the best in MMA, great footwork, trains out of the pit, with John Hackleman. Of course, beating Vanderlei Silva via decision, losing to Keith Jardine and Rampage, beat Babalu Tito twice, Randy, Vernon White, Jeremy Horn, Kevin Randleman, the list goes on. Rashad Evans, world-class wrestler, Division I wrestler, getting the split decision win over Michael Bisping, the draw over Tito, the head kick of Sean Salmon, beating Jason Lambert, Brad Imes, Sam Hoger, the list goes on for him. Where I see Rashad winning this fight is if he can get Chuck to the ground, which I think is going to be a tough task for Rashad. I think Chuck is going to use his footwork. He's going to be elusive. He's going to make Rashad come to him, and he's going to pick apart Rashad on the feet. I think Chuck Liddell is going to do the most damage in the later part of the first round and early into the second. And I think midway into the second round, I think Chuck's going to get a TKO. He's going to catch Rashad flush on the chin. Rashad's going to overcommit, make a mistake, come in on Chuck, and Chuck is going to catch him. Where I see Rashad maybe giving Chuck problems if he can get Chuck in the clinch, or try to maybe move in for a quick shot, a quick takedown. That's where I see Rashad giving Chuck the most problems. But if Rashad chooses to stand with Chuck, Chuck's going to pick him apart, I think, at least in my opinion. So I'm going to go with Chuck Liddell via second-round TKO. Leave me some comments, constructive, negative, positive. Let me know what you think. I'll be back the night of or the night after to do my review video. And on that note, you guys, have a great day.